What you're about to hear happened in South Korea. It didn't start with a crime. It started with an obsession. A true crime obsession so dark that a 23-year-old woman decided to test a theory that would destroy a family forever. And what makes this case truly chilling? The woman wasn't a seasoned criminal. She was a lonely girl living with her grandfather, her only companions. True crime podcasts and documentaries. Her motive: I just wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone. This is the case of Jung Yoo jung, and it's a warning about what happens when an obsession becomes reality. Let's go back to Busan, South Korea. May 26, 2023. A warm spring evening. In a small apartment in the Jung district, a 23-year-old woman named Jung Yoo jung is alone. She's always alone. She lives with her grandfather. No job, no friends, no social life. But she's not bored, far from it. Jung Yoo jung is consumed by an obsession, an unhealthy, all-consuming obsession: true crime. She watches crime documentaries obsessively. She reads true crime novels borrowed from the library, dozens of them. Serial killers, murder methods, dismemberment techniques, body disposal. She studies them like a scholar studies history. Her apartment walls are covered with notes, research, diagrams, all about how to commit the perfect murder. But Jung's life wasn't always like this. There's a reason she retreated into this dark corner of the internet. Her mother abandoned her when she was 1 year old. Her father left when she was 6. Her stepmother came into the picture, and Jung couldn't handle it. She tried to set her bed on fire. She made death threats to her father. But nobody helped. Nobody intervened. So Jung retreated. She stopped trying. After graduating high school in 2018, she basically disappeared. 5 years of isolation. 5 years of searching online for how to kill. 5 years of downloading podcasts about serial killers. And in that time, something dark grew inside her. In an interview, Jung would later say something that chills investigators to this day. She said she felt like she never truly fit in, like she was an outsider looking through glass at a world she didn't belong to. That feeling, that resentment, it festered. By 2023, Jung had perfected a new hobby: scrolling through tutoring apps. Every time. That's the name of the app. It connects parents who need tutors with English teachers looking for work. But Jung wasn't a parent, and she wasn't looking for education. She was hunting. For 3 months, from February to May 2023, Jung created a fake profile. She posed as the mother of a 9th-grade girl who needed English tutoring. Then, she did something cold and calculated. She started contacting tutors, not 1 or 2, over 50. She asked specific questions. Do you teach from your home? Are you alone? Do you have security cameras? She was looking for the perfect victim, someone vulnerable, someone isolated, someone she could kill without consequences. Prosecutors later found her search history. They discovered that in the months before the murders, she had researched how to kill someone, how to hide a dead body, how to commit the perfect murder, how to dispose of a corpse. This wasn't curiosity anymore. This was preparation. In May 2023, Jung found her target: a 26-year-old woman, intelligent, educated, attending a prestigious university, working as a freelance English tutor to support herself. She lived alone. That was the critical detail. Alone meant no witnesses. Alone meant freedom. On May 24th, Jung made contact through the app. She said she was the mother of a 9th grader who needed English lessons. The tutor was interested. They set up an appointment for a consultation on May 26th. The tutor had no idea what was coming. The night before, Jung did something disturbing. She called her own father. During the call, she made statements that sounded like death threats. It was almost like she was testing herself, building courage or confidence. Then she bought a school uniform online, not a child's uniform, one her size. She was small, petite, and with the right outfit, she could pass as a high school student. On May 26th, Jung got ready. School uniform, makeup, acting lessons learned from years of watching crime shows. She knew exactly what she needed to do. She took a taxi to the tutor's apartment in the Jung district. The tutor opened the door. She saw a young girl, that's all, a student coming for tutoring, safe, harmless. What she didn't see was the knife. What happened next happened fast, and it was violent. Jung stabbed the woman over 110 times. 10 times. Even after the tutor was dead, long after she stopped moving, stopped screaming, stopped fighting. Jung kept stabbing. Trung kept stabbing. Prosecutors called it a frenzied attack. But Jung later told psychologists something different. She said she felt nothing. No panic, no horror, no remorse. Just curiosity being satisfied. After the killing, Jung did something that showed just how planned this was. She didn't panic, she didn't run. She went to the store, she bought trash bags, she bought bleach, and she returned to the tutor's apartment. Over the next hours, she dismembered the body. She cut off the victim's fingers to make identification harder. She packed the remains into a suitcase. She took her victim's ID card, her phone, her wallet. Why? Police found those items in Jung's apartment later. Some theorize she kept them as trophies. Others think it was practical, to make it look like the tutor had run away. Either way, Jung was acting like someone who had done this before. Calculated, cold, efficient. Then came the fatal mistake. Jung doesn't drive. So she called a taxi. At 11 p.m. on May 26th, a taxi pulled up. Jung got in, carrying a bloody suitcase. She asked the driver to take her to a remote area, the woods near the Nakdong River, about 30 miles north of Busan. The driver became suspicious. The suitcase was dripping. There was blood on Jung's hands. She was acting nervous, looking around. At the drop-off location, deep in the woods in the dark, the driver watched as Jung carried the suitcase into the bushes. That was the moment everything changed. That driver picked up his phone and called police. By the time police arrived at the Nakdong River, the suitcase was already there. Bloody, soaked. Inside, they found body parts. Within hours, police had Jung's address. By dawn, she was arrested at her grandfather's apartment. In the interrogation room, Jung told different stories. First, she said she had nothing to do with it. Someone else killed the tutor and she only moved the body. Then she said the killing was an accident, that the tutor attacked her and she defended herself. But her family begged her to tell the truth. On June 3rd, just 1 week after the murder, Jung finally confessed. She admitted to planning the murder for months. She admitted to selecting a specific victim. She admitted to carrying it out exactly as planned. When asked why, she said something that would echo through South Korean courts for months. I wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone, out of curiosity. When police psychologists tested Jung, they got shocking results. She scored within the normal range on standard psychopathy tests. But the moment you looked at her actions, the cold planning, the complete lack of remorse, the efficiency of the crime, the way she felt nothing while dismembering a human body, it became clear that something was very wrong. One South Korean forensic psychologist said this about Jung's behavior. A person normally panics and becomes terrified when they kill someone. But the scene shows no sign of panic or horror. That phrase stuck with people. No panic, no horror, just curiosity satisfied. Prosecutors believe Jung's crime was an expression of rage. Rage at society. Rage at her unhappy adolescence. Rage at feeling like an outsider. But Jung maintained something different. She said the motive wasn't rage, it was science. She wanted to understand what killers felt, what the podcasts were describing, what the books explained. She wanted to know. In the courtroom, Jung pleaded for leniency. She claimed she was suffering from hallucinations and mental disorders at the time of the crime. The judge didn't believe her. In his statement, the judge said, "The crime was carefully planned and carried out. It is difficult to accept her claim of mental and physical disorder. She committed this crime for her own perverse reasons, without knowing the victim beforehand. Her actions have spread fear in society that one can become a victim for no reason. She has incited a general distrust among the community." In November 2023, 6 months after the murder, the Busan District Court handed down its verdict: life imprisonment. Prosecutors had asked for the death penalty. They wanted Jung executed. But South Korea has had a moratorium on executions since 1997, and the court wasn't willing to break that. Instead, Jung would spend the rest of her life in prison. Additionally, she was ordered to wear an ankle monitoring device for 30 years after her release, which, given that she's serving a life sentence, essentially means she'll be monitored for the rest of her life. In May 2024, Jung appealed the decision. The South Korean Supreme Court reviewed the case and upheld her life sentence. She remains in prison today. The case shocked South Korea, not because of the brutality — South Korea has seen violence before — but because of the motive. There was no connection between Jung and her victim, no history, no revenge, no money, no love affair, just a stranger, chosen at random, killed because someone wanted to know what it felt like. One Korean prosecutor said the crime spread fear in society that one can become a victim for no reason. She has incited a general distrust among the community. They weren't exaggerating. The tutoring app immediately implemented new safety measures. Verification processes were upgraded. Safety features were added. Parents became more cautious about their children's online activities. And people started asking a difficult question: can true crime media cause violence? The answer, according to experts, is complicated. Watching true crime documentaries doesn't make you a killer. That's important to understand. Millions of people watch true crime content, podcasts, documentaries, YouTube videos, and the vast majority are responsible, normal people. But for someone like Jung, someone isolated, depressed, without social connections, without treatment for her mental health issues, true crime content became a rabbit hole. It became obsession. It became a permission structure for dark thoughts that should have been addressed by doctors, not fed by YouTube. Jung had no one to talk to, no therapist, no friends, no one noticing that her searches had gone from interesting to how to hide a body. That's the real tragedy here. Jung's case happened in 2023, but her isolation started long before. She became a true recluse, someone who rarely leaves home, in 2019. Then COVID happened. For someone already isolated, the pandemic was permission to disappear completely. She could spend entire days, entire weeks, consuming true crime content without anyone noticing, without anyone caring. That's the danger, not the true crime itself. The isolation plus the content plus untreated mental illness equals a catastrophic combination. Experts now point to Jung's case as a warning sign. Not ban true crime, but pay attention to people who are isolated and consuming dark content. If someone you know is spending excessive time online, isolated, consuming violent content obsessively, not engaging with family or friends, making dark jokes or expressing morbid curiosity, or showing signs of depression or hopelessness, that's a moment to intervene, to talk, to get them help. Jung Yoo Jung is 25 years old today. She'll spend the rest of her life in prison. Her victim was 26. She'll never reach 27. The irony is dark. Jung spent years consuming stories about killers, studying their methods, learning from their mistakes. But when it came time to commit her own crime, she made rookie mistakes. A suspicious taxi driver, blood in the suitcase, CCTV footage, conflicting statements, all the things she would have seen in a true crime podcast. But curiosity doesn't make you smart. Curiosity doesn't make you careful. Curiosity just makes you dangerous. This case reminds us that everyone consuming true crime content right now, everyone watching, everyone listening, everyone reading, we carry a responsibility. We need to stay connected to reality. We need to recognize when our interest becomes unhealthy. We need to reach out to people who are isolated. Because the next Jung Yoo jung is out there, isolated, depressed, watching, researching, wondering. And if we don't intervene, if we don't create a society where people feel less alone, we might see this tragedy repeat. If you're watching this and you feel isolated, if you feel like you don't belong, if you're spending hours in dark corners of the internet consuming violent content, please reach out. Talk to someone, a friend, a family member, a therapist, anyone. Because curiosity about murder is one thing. Actually committing murder is something else entirely. And once that line is crossed, there's no going back. Jung Yoo jung learned that lesson too late. So did her victim. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be someone you know. Thank you for watching. If this video has resonated with you, please subscribe. We cover these cases not to glorify them, but to understand them, to learn from them, to prevent the next one, and to honor the victims. Because every person murdered by someone like Jung Yoo jung deserves to be remembered, not as a case number, not as a story, but as a human being, someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone with dreams and hopes and a future that was stolen. That's what matters. That's what we remember.